Now we return back to our master checklist here, in this case the initial inspection checklist. F is what we just completed, so now we move to G. G, it says for us to complete both pages of the initial inspection input form. Every area should have a note. Alright, so let's take a look at that and get that knocked out. This is the initial inspection input form. Anything that you've seen up to this point regarding an issue with the property, a positive about the property, a selling point possibly, or any discrepancies, differences between the HPIR and what you actually observed, this is the form to write it down on. So you write down the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, any repairs that are needed, the locations of the repairs. Write down if the property is broom swept clean, if it's winterized, if it has any bugs, and then any amenities that you saw. Please be as detailed as possible, especially when noting the differences from the HPIR. The top right, you'll see the area for dimensions of all of the rooms, and you just go through with your electronic measuring tool, measure each individual room, just write down the length and width to the nearest foot and which floor it's on, whether it's the first story or second story. We need to know how the keys worked. If they both worked on the front door, or if they did not, we just need to get all of your notes about that. If it has a shed, if it was damaged, or if there's any additional amenities in the property, we need to know all the details about it right here. At the bottom of the form here, you'll see a blank for the address, identifying keywords, and the date. Identifying keywords are just things that might help jog your memory if we were to ask you about this property 2 months from now. If it's the house with the pink ladybug painted on the bedroom wall, then you might put pink ladybug house right there. That'll just help jog your memory, as these houses tend to bleed together after you've done a bunch of inspections. This is an area where you can notate many of the different condition issues that you've seen and the locations. Please be as detailed as possible in the notes section. If you see anything that might be considered an emergency, such as vandalization that's occurred, any broken glass, any active water leaks, anything about the property that's unsecure, we need to know about that right away. So don't wait to turn in the form. Go ahead and pick up the phone and give us a call. Another thing, we tried to make this form as brief as we could, as small as we could, so that it doesn't take up a ton of time. We know that your money is made by doing these things quickly, and also you've got to do a good quality job to keep getting these assignments. And so just keep that in mind. The form, even though it's not written in a detailed way, go ahead and be as detailed as possible. Now that we've completed G, we move on to H. So without a date stamp, take a complete set of interior and exterior photos from the main photo checklist. Make sure you are taking a completely different set of photos for the date stamped and non-date stamped photos. So now we return to the same exact checklist that you've already done. It's just that this time, or last time we did it with a date stamp, this time we do it without a date stamp. So you go to the main photo checklist and you just follow the same exact checklist. It's important that you take a duplicate set of photos, and I know it seems a little silly at times, a little redundant maybe, but we need a completely duplicate set of photos. They will actually check to see if the angle is slightly different on any of the photos, to see if we are trying to cut corners on this. So go ahead and complete that. I'm not going to go over it again, my gosh, but you get the idea. So let's move on to the next step. Step 6, we re-emphasize that we need you to take time to write down what room the damage was in and things that impressed you or disgust you about the house. We need to know if there are any differences from what you saw in the house compared to what was on the HPIR. We need you to double check over your photos to make sure they are as good as quality as possible, so that we don't have to send you back out to the property to take additional photos without additional compensation. And finally, number 7, upload all of the photos, all of the scanned documents to us via Dropbox. We need a complete set of the date stamp photos and a complete set of the non-date stamp photos. Make sure that those are separated for us so we don't have to dig through them. Also, we need a scanned version of the HPIR, included your circled items of interest, scanned version of the initial inspection input form, scanned version of this checklist after you've signed and dated it, and we need you to double check that everything has been uploaded properly into the folder. Now I'm going to end with one final tip. It seems like there are people that end up doing a great job on every step of the way here, and then when it comes to uploading their photos and their documents, they will see that the everything is being uploaded, and then they'll turn their computer off prematurely before the uploading process finishes. So it's just important to keep your computer on and keep your internet connection going until we receive everything. Even though you might be finished with all the work, we don't count it as completed until we receive every last form and photo. There you have it.